Good afternoon, good evening for all of those tuning in. World Cup has officially seen some qualified nations, and it has seen some nations also be eliminated. But this World Cup has officially gotten to wrap up match day 2, and we already have some qualified nations and some nations that have been sent home. And some of those nations are surprisingly some great teams that should have gotten at least into the round of 32. But this is the beautiful game where many things on paper are not backed up on the field. And yes, sometimes backed up on paper are backed up on the field. But we have seen so many beautiful memories already being made, a lot of goals being scored. Top scorers is a competition for the top scorer in this 2026 World Cup. With this new format, I believe that we'll be seeing more goals and players scoring more than 8 goals in one World Cup. In the case of Mbappe, he was the one who put 8 goals in the World Cup. But we will be definitely seeing more than 8 goals in this World Cup by the top scorer. Whoever is taking this top scorer is definitely scoring more than 8 goals. Why? Because we have Lionel Messi with 5 goals in 2 matches for Argentina in the group stage. But we are going to go into this World Cup. A World Cup that has given us a lot of satisfaction for the viewers, for the football fan. But we're going to dive into this World Cup and summarize it from Group A to Group L. But again, for those that don't know, for those that are tuning in, esto es pase ambidiestro, ambidextrous pass, fútbol honestamente, soccer, football, honestly. But let's dive into this match day 2, starting with Group A. A group that saw Mexico and South Korea go at it. We saw a Mexico against South Korea go at it. In this Group A, we have Mexico, who won 1-0 against South Korea, and we have a Czech Republic against a South Africa that tied 1-1. The host nation, Mexico, they leverage an intense home support to secure an efficient win, flying to just perfect 6 points and guaranteeing the advance into the next round, which is the round of 32. Czechia and South Africa fought in a tight draw, keeping the race for a second completely open. In the standings, we have Mexico with 6 points, a positive 3-goal difference. They have been qualified. Then we have South Korea with 3 points, a 0-goal difference. Czechia with 1 point and a negative 1-goal difference. And South Africa with 1 point and a negative 2-goal difference. The match of this group was Mexico against South Korea, a very, very tactical fought game. The host nation, Mexico, again, they leverage in an electric home crowd at Guadalajara Stadium to secure an impressive hard-fought victory. Midfielder Luis Romo was the one who broke the deadlock by scoring a decisive solitary goal that came from a mistake, and these things do happen. And this goal came in the 49th minute. With this efficient defensive performance, La Tricolor officially clinched early qualification into the round of 32 as Group A winners. Then we go to Group B. In Group B, we had Canada against Qatar, a Canada that wins 6-0. And then we had a Switzerland against Bosnia, a Switzerland that wins 4-1. Canada delivered an absolute clinic against Qatar to just claim the group lead on goal difference. And Switzerland kept perfect pace with the commanding 4-goal victory over Bosnia. In the standings for this group, we have Canada with 4 points and a positive 6-goal difference. Switzerland with 4 points and a positive 3-goal difference. On third place, we have Bosnia with 1 point and a negative 3-goal difference. And then we have Qatar with 1 point and a 6-goal difference. The match of this group that was attractive was Canada against Qatar. Canada that just blows Qatar out 6-0. The co-host just put an absolute attacking clinic at BC Place in Vancouver just to claim the top spot on Group B on goal difference. And the star forward Jonathan David, he led a historic route by netting a magnificent hat trick. And by netting this magnificent hat trick, scoring in the 28th, 47, and 91st minute of play, Laring and Nathan Saliba also found the back of the net to wrap up a massive win, a multi-goal victory of 6-0. This is one of many games that have had a high score. But Canada still has to fight to make sure on the next game that they are able to go through this group stage. But then we move on to Group C. We have Group C. And in Group C, we have a Brazil against Haiti, a Brazil that won 3-0. Then we have a Scotland against Morocco, a Morocco that wins 1-0. Brazil, they bounce back from their opening day on a tactical stalemate to just comprehensively dismantle Haiti. Meanwhile, Morocco, they secure a priceless single goal win over Scotland to stay locked level at the top with the Selecao. And Haiti has been mathematically eliminated, one of the very first nations to be sent home. In the standings, we have Brazil with 4 points and a positive 3 goal difference. Then we have Morocco with 4 points and a positive 1 goal difference. Scotland in third place with 3 points and a 0 goal difference. And Haiti took 0 points and they had a negative 4 goal difference, and they have been eliminated off this World Cup. The matches that stands out in Group C is Brazil with a 3-0 against Haiti. The South American Giants, they just completely asserted their authority in Philadelphia. They knew that they had to pick up 3 crucial points and pick at Haiti to be able to bounce back from an opening day stalemate when they play against Morocco. The dynamic forward Matheus Cunha set a dominant tone for the evening by striking twice, scoring a brace inside the first half, and Vinicius Jr. just capped off the clinical performance with the brilliant second half finish, mathematically eliminating Haiti from the tournament progression. And at the same time, Rafinha is a player who got injured in this one game. A Rafinha that just makes me question, why is he so prone to injuries? A Rafinha that in the last third of league season with Barcelona in La Liga, this Rafinha picked up injuries, and he took some time off to come back and make sure he was good for Brazil. But with Brazil, he picks up an injury against Haiti. A Rafinha that is being talked about returning back home to Brazil and just try to follow rehab to make sure he is good. But a Rafinha that does make difference, but a Rafinha that has been touched by too many injuries this season, and a Rafinha that has been prone and only makes me question again, why is Rafinha so prone to injuries? But Brazil goes top with Morocco, and Brazil only goes top for the goal difference in this group. Then we go to Group D. In Group D, we have the U.S. against Australia, U.S. that wins 2-0. Then we have a Turkey against a Paraguay that wins in a solid 1-0 that they defend from the beginning of the game. The United States did just execute a flawless game plan to lock up Group D with a game to spare. Paraguay bounced back beautifully by shutting out Turkey, setting up a straight winner take all match 3 clash against Australia for the final knockout slot. Paraguay will have to play it all against Australia. Turkey mathematically goes home. In the standings, we have United States with 6 points and a positive 5 goal difference, and they have been qualified to the round of 32. Then we have Australia with a 3 points and a 0 goal difference. Then we have Paraguay with 3 points and a negative 2 goal difference, while Turkey has 0 points, has been eliminated with a negative 3 goal difference. The match that stands out in this group is the US against Australia. The United States executed a highly disciplined game plan in Seattle to comfortably dispatch a physical Australian side. An early 10th minute blunder saw Australia's Cameron Burgess just redirect the ball into his own net to give the host a vital lead. A fine 42nd minute strike from Freeman doubled the advantage, ensuring that the United States national team secured an early advancement into the knockout stage as Group D winners. Paraguay in this one game, in this specific second match day, Paraguay won against Turkey. Yes, they scored at the beginning of the game, but a game where Turkey played offensively, but they just couldn't find the channels to get the goals. Turkey sees themselves punished, but Paraguay took a red. Almiron took a red against Turkey due to the fact that there is a ruling, for those that are still not aware, that if you cover your mouth while you're saying something to a player, you will be given a red card. And Almiron tries to play it off, but the Turkey player, smart enough, checks and clicks that Almiron is covering his mouth, and straight goes to the referee. Referee follow procedure, and yes, it's understandable for Almiron to be pissed, but the rules are the rules, and they are in for a reason. And yes, in the middle of the game, you have gotten so used to covering your mouth, things happen, but the Turkey player took advantage of this. Paraguay walk away with a 1-0 win that Paraguay knew how to suffer after they lost a man, but this Paraguay still has hopes to go through if they win or tie against Australia. But then we move on to Group E. Group E gave us Germany against Ivory Coast, a Germany that wins 2-1, and Ecuador that ties 0-0 against Curacao. Germany survived a high-intensity physical challenge from the Ivory Coast to claim a second straight win, sealing their spot in the round of 32. Ecuador and Curacao cancel each other out in a cagey tactical scoreless draw. Germany sits in first place with 6 points and a positive 7-goal difference. They have been qualified to the round of 32. Ivory sits second with 3 points and a 0-goal difference, while Ecuador sits in third with 1 point and a negative 1-goal difference, and Curacao has also 1 point, however, with a negative 6-goal difference. The game that stands out in this one, Group E, is Germany against Ivory Coast. Germany had to grind just through an intensive physical end-to-end tactical challenge in Toronto to preserve their perfect tournament record. The Ivory Coast initially just stunned heavyweights through Frank Kessie, who converted a clever 29th minute opportunity just to give the underdogs a shock lead. Germany forward Dennis Undav single-handedly rescue his nation by firing home a magnificent second half brace, including a dramatic 93rd minute winner. Germany seems like a firepower, and they are very, very clinical when it comes to converting their chances. But then we move on to Group F, and in Group F, we have Netherlands, who won 5-1 against Sweden, and a Tunisia that lost against Japan 4-0. Total football on display as the Dutch attack ran riot against Sweden. Japan mirrored that dominance with the equally clinical 4-goal victory over Tunisia, setting up a massive matchday 3 battle for the top seeding. Sweden is forced to win. Japan is forced to defend and win. And Netherlands, most likely, they will do everything, and they will push to win against Tunisia to make sure that they take the top seed of this Group F. Netherlands is currently the first place with 4 points and a positive 4-goal difference. Japan is second place with 4 points and a positive 4-goal difference. Then we have Sweden sitting in third with 3 points and a 0-goal difference. And Tunisia, 0 points, has been eliminated with a -8 goal difference. Netherlands against Sweden was the game that stood out in this Group F. A Netherlands that wins 5-1. Total football was operating at a maximum efficiency in Houston, as the lethal Dutch front their line completely dismantled Sweden's defensive unit. Striker Brian Brobbery terrorized the opposition early, netting 2 rapid-fire goals inside the opening 20 minutes, and then Cody Gakpo mirrored his teammate attacking brilliance by scoring a swift second-half brace on his own to seal a 5-goal blowout against Sweden. In this Group F, Sweden has to win against Tunisia, which will more likely happen. But this specific group has 2 great sides, Japan and Netherlands, that are playing total football. They are standing up to the challenge of the opponent. But then we are in Group G. In Group G, we have Belgium against Iran, a game that ended 0-0, tied. And then we have in New Zealand against Egypt. In Egypt, that wins 3-1. The underdogs are closing the gap. A star-studded Belgium squad suffered frustrating setback, forced to settle for a draw against a highly disciplined, low-blocking Iranian defense after picking up costly red card in the 67th minute. Egypt took the full advantage, comfortably dispatching New Zealand to grasp control of the group. We have Egypt in first place with 4 points and a positive 2-goal difference. Then we have Iran with 2 points and a 0-goal difference. Belgium with 2 points, a 0-goal difference. Then New Zealand with 1 point and a -2-goal difference. The game that stands out in this Group G is Belgium against Iran. That ends 0-0. In one of the most shocking defensive masterclasses of the round, a star-studded Belgium that this squad was entirely just choked out by the rigid Iranian defense. The entire complexion of the match just shifted in the 66th minute when the Belgium defender Nathan Ngoy was shown a straight red card. Iran's highly disciplined low block masterfully just capitalized off the man advantage, shutting down the late threats to secure a historic point. Then we have Group H. In Group H, we had Spain against Saudi Arabia, a Spain that won 4-0. And then we had a Uruguay against Cabo Verde, a game that ended 2-2. La Roja laid down a major marker with absolute masterclass in Atlanta. In contrast, Uruguay fell into the end-to-end chaotic trap against an incredible brave Cabo Verde side, shaking up the entire group's qualification math. But Spain sits at the top of this group. A Spain that sits at the top of this group. A Spain that at the moment has 4 points, a positive 4-goal difference. Uruguay has 2 points, a 0-goal difference. Cabo Verde has 2 points, 0-goal difference. And Saudi Arabia has 1 point with a -4-goal difference. The match that stands out in this Group H is Uruguay against Cabo Verde, a game that ended 2-2. Uruguay and Cabo Verde played an absolute end-to-end thriller in Miami that concluded the dramatic 2-2 stalemate. The resilient African underdogs repeatedly went toe-to-toe with established South American giants, answering every offensive threat with lethal counterattacks. This high-octane result leaves both squads level on 2 points, setting up a chaotic winner-take-all final match for qualification. Uruguay is forced to win against Spain if they want to stay. Cabo Verde has to win against Saudi Arabia if they want to stay. But Saudi Arabia, if they can't take a win against Cabo Verde, Saudi Arabia will be able to slip into that 3rd place, even 2nd place. And then depending on how Spain against Uruguay goes, Uruguay might be able to slip into that 3rd place, or they will be going home. This group is not decided. It's still open, very open, because if Uruguay wins, Uruguay can go 5 points, take 1st place. If Cabo Verde wins, they can go 5 points, take 1st place. If Saudi Arabia wins, they can go 2nd place and qualified. If Spain loses, they can drop, but if Spain wins, they straight through and they qualify to the round of 32. But this group H is still not defined. There's still one more match day to be played that will definitely shape who qualifies to the round of 32. Then we have group I. France against Iraq. France wins 3-0. Norway against Senegal. Norway wins 3-2. No surprises here. The group favorites cruise through. Kylian Mbappe netted another brace to lead Le Blues safely into the knockouts, matching Miroslav's close legendary record of 16 career World Cup goals. And Erling Haaland kept the pace, scoring his own double to send Norway alongside France. In the standings of this group, we have France with 6 points and a positive 5 goal difference, and they have been qualified to the round of 32. Then we have Norway with 6 points with a positive 4 goal difference, qualified to the round of 32. Then we have Senegal, who still has not been able to get any points with a negative 3 goal difference, and Iraq, who still hasn't been able to get any points with a negative 6 goal difference. The game that stands out in this group I is Norway against Senegal, a thrilling victory 3-2 for Norway in a rainy swept MetLife Stadium, as FIFA is calling it, New York, New Jersey Stadium, to book their place in FIFA World Cup 2026 round of 32. After Marcus Peterson opened the scoring late in the first half, Erling Haaland took center stage by netting a brilliant second half brace to keep his spectacular international scoring run alive. Senegal mounted a fierce fight back through 2 goals of their own from Ismail Assar, but the Lions of the Teranga ultimately ran out of time as the Vikings celebrated advancing past the group stage for the first time since 1998. And one thing I can say is I was lucky enough to attend this game, Senegal or Norway against Senegal, a game that ended 3-2. I was very, 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 very lucky to attend this game and watch these two great nations go at it. A dark horse, a team that has been coming up, and a forward that has been on fire since the qualifiers for Norway. Who is that? Erling Haaland, as we know. This guy has been on fire. I was able to watch this guy score 2 goals, a brace for Norway. And out of this whole experience, I can officially say that I have been able to attend an official World Cup game where 2 great national teams are playing. But the most beautiful part of this, the game is amazing. The game gives you feelings. The game gives you surprises. The game fulfills many things as a football fan. But one thing that I will take away from this is the beautiful part of how certain nations share certain cultural things with the world. What do I mean by that? The Norwegian row celebration that this Norwegian nation does is one of the new things we'll be seeing. It's one of the new things we will be seeing, and it's one of the celebrations that will definitely make impact in football. It's just like the Viking clap. It's amazing how cultures share this with the world and how this becomes part of the game. As we can see, the world can definitely unite through common things. And it's an amazing, beautiful feeling to see nations share part of their culture with the world. It was an amazing experience. It was an amazing game more than anything. And it was amazing to see one of the best center forwards in the game score a brace. A game that was fought to the last minute by both of these teams, Senegal and Norway. But I will always remember this special celebration that the Nords do when they are supporting the Norwegian national team. Their rose celebration, one of the most authentic celebrations out there, that again, it will become part of this beautiful sport. This sport gives us many great, amazing memories that become identity of this beautiful game. But moving on to Group J, we have in Argentina against Austria, and Argentina that wins 2-0. And then we have a Jordan against Algeria, in Algeria that wins 2-1. Lionel Messi and La Albiceleste just managed, the match perfectly to record a comprehensive clean sheet victory and confirm entry to the next round. Algeria bounced back sharply from their opening defeat, securing a vital victory over Jordan. In the standings in this Group J, we have Argentina with 6 points and a positive 5 goal difference, and Argentina has been qualified to the round of 32. Then we have Austria with 3 points and a 0 goal difference, Algeria with 3 points and a negative 2 goal difference, while Jordan has 0 points and negative 3 goal difference and has been eliminated from this World Cup 2026. The match that stands out in this Group J is Argentina against Austria. Lionel Messi and La Albiceleste just managed the tempo perfectly in this game in Dallas just to guarantee their safe progression into the knockout phase. The South American champions put together a comprehensive clean sheet, entirely neutralizing Austria high pressing. For those that know how Austria plays and who Reknik is, he is one of the pioneers who has created this high intensity pressure game, but Argentina was able to neutralize that Austria's high pressing midfield. The efficient multi-goal victory allows Argentina to just luxury to the luxury of rotating their squad for the final group fixture. For those, a lot of nations that have already qualified, we already have 4 or 5 nations that are straight qualified. Most likely these nations will put some of their bench players just to make sure they are able to rotate, save and cool down some of their players, make sure they're all good. But not only that, this helps players in the bench to gain confidence and feel like they are part of this squad and their work means something. It's always important to give playing time to your players. That keeps their confidence up, they feel part of the team, and at the same time you give rotation and you see your squad depth in such opportunities when you are technically already qualified for the next round. But this Argentina is through. Austria, Algeria are still to play to see who goes through this group. Argentina is going to be playing against Jordan, and Austria will be playing against Algeria. Then we have Group K. In this Group K, we have the match of Portugal against Uzbekistan. A Portugal that wins 5-0. Portugal emphatically just answered critics after an opening match stumble. Cristiano Ronaldo turned back to the clock with an electric first half brace, followed by strikes of Nuno Mendes and Rafael Leao to put Selecao in a complete command. Colombia still retains a narrow edge in the standings, having completed their first fixture. Colombia and Congo will be the ones going at it later on today. We have Portugal, who is in first place in this Group K. A Portugal that has 4 points and a positive 5 goal difference. Colombia is sitting second with 3 points and a positive 2 goal difference and still has one more match to play. Then Congo has 1 point, 0 goal difference, and Congo will be playing against Colombia. And then we have Uzbekistan with 0 points and a negative 7 goal difference. Uzbekistan still has the chance to be able to qualify to this World Cup round of 32. And the match that stands out is, of course, Portugal against Uzbekistan. A Portugal that this match, they knew they had to play aggressive and offensively and look forward. One thing I did appreciate from this game is that Ronaldo shut the critics. Yes, that's one thing. But this Portugal did not look too obvious trying to play, obviously, towards Ronaldo and always just looking for Ronaldo. That was the beauty of this. that you didn't have a Portugal that was constantly looking for Ronaldo. This Portugal played with their midfield. They moved the ball. They saw the spaces. They controlled the game. And they put a high score sheet to make sure that they are able to take this first spot, or at least compete for the first spot of this Group K. Then we have Group L, a group that still has one more game to go, which is Croatia against Panama, that will be played later today. In this Group L, we had England against Ghana, a England that tied 0-0 after exploiting for an entertaining 4-2 win against Croatia in their opener. England's high-flying attack was entirely neutralized by Ghana in Boston. Harry Kane was kept quiet as the Three Lions found themselves frustrated by a compact defensive block. While they missed out on an early qualification, they still comfortably at the top of the group on goal difference. In the standings, we have a England that is has 4 points and a positive 2 goal difference. Then we have Ghana sitting in second with 4 points and a positive 1 goal difference. Then we have Panama with 0 points and a negative 1 goal difference, and Croatia with 0 points and a negative 2 goal difference. We still have Panama and Croatia to go after in this group, just to close match day 2. We still have 2 more matches left: Colombia against Congo and Croatia against Panama. Panama and Croatia for Group L, and Colombia against Congo for Group K. But in Group L, of course, we only had one match, which is England against Ghana. This England did not look anything like the England that playing against Croatia. The game was very pragmatic, not much ball movement. England sometimes found themselves suffering and being hit back on the counters. But this England did not show the same way that they played against Croatia. But this World Cup has given us some of the most entertaining game. This World Cup has given us some of the most entertaining game. Some of the most amazing amount of goals so far. There's only been 2 match days played, and some players already have 5, from 5 to 4 to 2 goals. But we know who has 5 goals. We know who has 5 goals. And we know that is Messi. We know Messi has 5 goals in this World Cup so far. We have a Messi that so far has 5 goals, a Kylian Mbappe that has 4 goals, a Erling Haaland that has 4 goals, a Dennis Undav that has 3 goals, a Jonathan David that has 3 goals, and from there on, everybody else, as we can see: Somerville, Oyarzabal, Araujo, Ueda, Gapco, Vinicius Jr., Mazembe, Bobry, Cunha, Larin, Kamara, Bologon, Salibi, Ayari, Sar, Just, Harvards, Ronaldo, Kane, Isaac, Salah, and on. Ronaldo and Harry Kane have 2 goals. And from there on, we go up, and Lionel Messi leads the player with the most goals at the moment. Messi is the leader in the race for the Golden Boot in this World Cup. But this World Cup has given us 2 match days of a lot of goals and players that are already making the difference for their nation. Messi claims ultimate World Cup history. At 38 years old, Lionel Messi is playing like a man determined to defend Argentina's crown. After netting a breathtaking hat-trick against Algeria in Matchday 1, he just bounced back from a missed penalty to score a brace against Austria. In doing so, Messi reached 18 career World Cup goals, officially surpassing Germany's Miroslav Klose, who has 16 as the all-time leading men's goal scorer in the World Cup history. He has also overtaken Brazil's Marta's 17 goal for the absolute record across both men's and women's games. The tactical talking point centers on how effortlessly he has transitioned into a clinical spatial predator utilizing late box entries rather than the high intensity pressing. This Argentina team is playing. This Argentina team is playing, but following the momentum of Messi. This Argentina team defense, Messi can be out of the picture. But there's one thing I noticed. Yes, Messi is attacking the space calmly, clinically, without doing much running. He's just appearing behind the play. But this Messi is free roaming. He's playing with freedom. There's something that clicks in this Argentina team when Messi wants to switch the tempo. If the ball goes close or through Messi, the play changes. There's an effective that Messi has, but that's because of how creative he is. But this Argentina team has been able to let Messi do his own thing while the other 10 players are focusing on containing structure, moving the ball calmly, switching the play, defending well. Messi comes into play when the team is attacking forward. That's when Messi comes into play for this Argentina, that tactically I believe they have been able to adjust to the game that Messi is playing now without Messi taking too much physical wear in the game. Messi, Argentina, they have tactically fixed the game. So Argentina as a whole fits Messi's game, and Messi is able to fit in Argentina's game tactically. But the generation gap, we have Mbappe and Haaland who are lurking behind Messi, while Messi has claimed a record for now the real long-term threat to his throne is Kylian Mbappe. Following a lightning fast race against Iraq, the French captain just has surged to 4 goals for the tournament and a 16 career World Cup goals total at just 27 years old. Mbappe has already equaled Klose in a second place all time and is actively breathing down Messi's neck. And at the same time, we have currently Erling Haaland, who is making up for lost time. In his tournament debut with Norway, Haaland has already smashed 4 goals in just 2 games. The terrifying scoring rate of both Mbappe and Haaland has many wondering if Messi newly minted all-time record will even survive past July. I believe this Messi can definitely finish this tournament as top scorer. Is between the top 3. Mbappe is gonna tell him Mbappe can take it, Haaland can take it, but this Messi can definitely finish top scorer, but Mbappe will be the one holding the World Cup, the most goals in all World Cups played as a professional player. This is already Mbappe's 3rd World Cup. And if he's going at this rate, Mbappe will break the record and he will be one of the fastest players to reach whatever record is it that he breaks or touches. But this Messi, I believe, it's just insane how one guy has scored all 5 goals for Argentina without being the one who is constantly moving the ball through his feet. He plays when he has to and he lets the play flow without being involved as much as he used to. But this Argentina is doing a great job fitting Messi's game into the tactical part of Argentina, and at the same time just letting him have liberty and freedom in the field, running around and just appearing behind the play to bag goals for Argentina. But at the same time, we have Germany's efficiency and the North American boost. Behind the global mega stars, Germany Dennis Undav has emerged as a major tactical talking point, operating with supreme efficiency. And Julian Nagelsmann's free-flowing attack. Undav has racked 3 goals, 2 assists in just 56 minutes of action across 2 games, making him a dark horse Golden Boot contender via the assist tie breaker. And additionally, the home field advantage for the host nations is paying early dividends. Canada's Jonathan Davey has spearheaded his team's lethal attack with 3 goals, keeping Canada at the top of Group B and highlighted the narrowing gap between traditional football giants and rising North American national teams. But in the end, we also have a Cristiano Ronaldo that got himself in the scoring sheet with a brace to shut some critics off. And Ronaldo is the only player to score in 6 different World Cups. He might not have a huge amount of goals, but is the only player to score in 6 different World Cups. And lastly, we have had 2 of the fastest goals this World Cup. The tournament record for the fastest goal was incredibly shattered twice on the same exact day. First, Ismail Saiba caught Scotland cold by scoring for Morocco in just 71 seconds. Only hours later, Paraguay Matias Galarza stoned Turkey by finding the back of the net a mere 65 seconds into the match. Teams are throwing out conservative group stage blueprints in favor of immediate psychological warfare in this World Cup, but we have been seeing a lot of goals, and this World Cup would definitely break the amount of goals record scored in the World Cup because there is 48 teams. But this match day 2 has come to a conclusion. But that's all for today. And for those that don't know, esto es Pase Ambidiestro, Ambidextrous Pass, Fútbol Honestamente, Soccer, Football. Honestly, if you want to keep up with this World Cup and all the games, please like and subscribe. Have a good one. Thank you all